Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Tonight, defiance in the streets and a personal call for action.
I want justice for him. He was a good man.
Grief and anger after the president doubled down on the threats to turn the military against protesters.
The president's more interested in power than in principle.
And in Canada, a different struggle.
We all watch in horror and consternation what's going on in the United States.
How to respond.
I'm Andrew Chang. Also tonight, COVID infections are trending down in Canada, except in one province.
We clearly need to do things differently here.
Ontario is still seeing hundreds of cases a day. So what's going on? And Canadians are heading back to work. Is public transit ready?
This is a fundamental issue that we are wrestling with.
How your commute could change. This is The National.
Across the United States tonight, that unrelenting push for change continues. This is night 8 of protests that started after George Floyd was detained and died at the hands of police.
With that comes a struggle, too, for control of the streets. More than 20,000 National Guard members have been activated in various states. This site at Washington's Lincoln Memorial. It's an attempt to quiet the violence we've seen night after night. Hundreds of cities are imposing curfews. New York's moved up to 8 p.m. And over all of that hangs Donald Trump's threat to send in the army. That and Trump's other actions, the targets of widespread condemnation today. Paul Hunter is in Washington. Paul, what does that city look like tonight?
Check it out for yourself. I mean, this is downtown D.C. right now. We're just in front of the White House again. It's another night of fury aimed at Donald Trump. Outside the church where last night Donald Trump stood, Bible in hand, after demonstrators had been forced out to make way for him, today came condemnation.
It is clear you don't have the Bible in your heart.
In case you missed it, the peaceful demonstration turned into this so that this could happen. Trump walking out of the White House defiantly to the very spot those protesters had been demanding social justice. The president stood by that church and held high that book.
Using tear gas and flash grenades in order to stage a photo op. We can be forgiven for believing the president is more interested in power than in principle.
And about that Bible, said presidential challenger Joe Biden,
I just wish he opened it once in a while, instead of brandishing it. If he opened it, he could have learned something.
As demonstrators raged for yet another day throughout the U.S. in state after state after state, back in the Capitol, taller fencing had been installed around the White House, walling off protesters who kept up their demands regardless. The same demands for social justice were sent to Trump directly by another crowd alongside the presidential motorcade today. They'd gathered with their placards and their now relentless fury as the president visited the shrine of St. John Paul II. Trump's only public comments today came via Twitter, calling protesters in New York hoodlums, thugs, and scum. And as those demonstrations continue, Trump continues to threaten to call in the full power of the U.S. military if states can't stop the protests on their own. On that, today, it seemed a kind of stunned, near disbelief.
We don't think that the active duty military should be used on American streets against Americans. Bringing in the military to do police work is inappropriate.
Meanwhile, the criticism continues, both veiled and otherwise. Mike Mullen, who was once the top-ranking advisor to Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama, wrote about that walk to the church yesterday. The church is just over here. He said it was nothing more than a stunt. And he said the citizens of this country are not the enemy. George W. Bush didn't name Trump today, but he said now is the time for America to examine its failures. Meanwhile, the crowd keeps on sending its message to Donald Trump. Andrew.
Paul Hunter in Washington. Thank you.
Now, out of all the tension, the shocking sight of so much camouflage on U.S. streets, there are some moments like this one.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you take a kneel? Can you take a kneel?
I don't know. It ain't enough for me.
Let me see.
It ain't enough for me.
So this happened in Los Angeles today. National Guard members, one by one, then all together, taking a knee as protesters cheer. The message from the first to act to those around him: I absolutely support your right to protest. Susan Ormiston is in Minneapolis tonight, where George Floyd died, where the protests began. The mood clearly calmer a bit tonight, but no less determined. Susan?
Yeah, it's calmer and it shifted again. I mean, there's a new mural here, a dramatic piece of street art here of George Floyd, and people are coming here to take selfies. There's sort of more of a partying atmosphere here as they feel more confident that this won't be disrupted. And of course, this is the spot, as you said, where Minneapolis police locked George Floyd up in a death grip with such a devastating result.
George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, Gianna, added a tragic note as her mother, Roxy Washington, spoke about their loss.
If it's a problem she's having and she needs her dad, she does not have that anymore.
Floyd didn't live with them. They're from Houston, where he grew up, and where today a huge crowd, tens of thousands, gathered outside City Hall, a powerful and peaceful symbol. Supporters calling for justice and investigations into racism.
So many times this has happened, and then it goes away. This time, it will not fade away.
Houston's police chief has shown a bold streak of common purpose with protesters all weekend, walking with them, praying with them.
So if you've got hate in your heart for people of color, get over it. Okay? Because this city is a minority majority city.
He changed his Twitter profile picture to one of Floyd, and last night on CNN took a swipe at the president.
United States, on behalf of the police chiefs in this country, please, if you don't have something constructive to say, keep your mouth shut, because you're putting men and women in their early 20s at risk. It's not about dominating, it's about winning hearts and minds.
At Minnesota's state capitol, again, hundreds of people, with the governor launching an extraordinary civil rights complaint against the Minneapolis Police Department, examining whether there is systemic discrimination after a history of complaints of excessive force targeting blacks, long before Floyd died.
I want justice for him because he was good. No matter what anybody thinks, he was good.
The Floyd family lawyer now says that he's confident there will be more charges coming within days against those other 3 officers implicated in Floyd's death. Preparations are now underway for a funeral memorial here on Thursday.
All right, Susan, thanks very much.
In New York today, people were picking up the pieces after raucous protests and looting broke out last night during the city's first curfew in decades. Tonight, once again, Stephen D'Souza is on the street to bring us all the developments. Stephen, how are things looking?
Well, Andrew, you know, at the heart, these protests are about heavy-handed policing. And so when the city brought in an earlier curfew at 8 p.m. tonight, people came out in full force, ready to defy. And so we saw the largest crowd we'd seen throughout the days of these protests. And they marched through the streets and they cheered and counted down when 8 o'clock came and went. But then the police showed up, and as you can see, this is the remnants of some of them. You do not see any protesters because they were dispersed, because police came in the largest numbers we've seen and in the largest force we've seen to avoid a repeat of the violence we've seen in previous nights.
The cleanup was extensive across New York. The aftermath of a night when the city was supposed to be locked down, but instead it was open season. While most New York protests were peaceful, here, crowds tore into an already boarded-up Macy's department store, striking an iconic New York symbol, though any storefront was fair game. For much of the night, police were a step behind. And arrests like this were few and far between. An officer was even struck by a car while responding to looters. He was in hospital in serious but stable condition. Last night's 11 p.m. curfew seemed to embolden rather than deter.
The NYPD and the mayor did not do their job last night. I believe that.
Instead of 8,000 officers, Governor Cuomo said the city should have used the full force, all 38,000, or brought in the National Guard. Cuomo even mused about overruling the mayor.
I believe the mayor underestimates the scope of the problem.
The president mocked both leaders for letting what he called lowlifes and losers rip the city apart. But New York officials were united on one point. Trump's calls for troops and a heavy hand were political, not practical.
No, the answer is not instant gratification. Let's bring in outside armed forces and everything's going to be great. No, it's dangerous. It will make things worse.
I love you. Let's go.
A top commander tried to reach out, said outsiders are ruining a good movement.
People who live in New York want New York to end the violence. Get the intruders that are not from this city the hell out of here and give us back our city.
But those gestures are just drops in an ocean of anger and frustration. Again, the streets today were filled with demonstrations with no end in sight.
Now it seems the police are wanting to send a strong message because they've banned cars in all of, or rather most of Manhattan. And as you saw, with so much pressure politically coming from the mayor, from the governor, even the president, it's clear police had to do something tonight. There were 700 arrests the previous night, and when all is said and done after tonight, that number is sure to be eclipsed, Andrew.
Okay, Stephen D'Souza, thanks very much.
Here in Canada, a question about Donald Trump's handling of the U.S. protests stopped Justin Trudeau cold today. As David Cochrane tells us, the Prime Minister's response did not come easily.
The Prime Minister had to know the question was coming.
But we do have Donald Trump now calling for military action against protesters.
But it still seemed to catch him off guard.
I'd like to ask you what you think about that. And if you don't want to comment, what message do you think you're sending?
For 21 seconds, Justin Trudeau said nothing as he gathered his thoughts and picked every word carefully.
We all watch in horror and consternation what's going on in the United States. It is a time to pull people together.
Trudeau spoke broadly about racism and injustice, but not directly about tear gas and rubber bullets used against protesters to clear a path for a photo op. With the U.S. in such turmoil, it's no surprise the government would steer clear of provoking Trump.
As a Canadian politician, as a Canadian leader, my focus is on Canada.
The Canada-U.S. border is closed but still subject to delicate negotiations that allow for a steady supply of masks, medicine, and food for Canada.
Anti-black racism is happening here, everywhere in Canada, every single day.
So Trudeau and other leaders use the anguish of America to look inward, led by a prime minister who has had to publicly confront his own failings less than a year ago.
I have made serious mistakes in the past, mistakes which I deeply regret and continue to learn from.
Trudeau expressed regret, others frustration.
You know what? People are done with pretty speeches, particularly pretty speeches from people in power that could do something about it right now if they wanted to.
We hear your calls for justice, equality, and accountability.
Trudeau offered comfort and exercised caution, being careful about what he said and what he left unsaid. David Cochrane, CBC News, Ottawa.
In Regina, a sizable crowd turned out today in solidarity with American protesters.
Equality for all! Equality for all!
Normally we do brush it off. We're very thick-skinned, very second-hand nature. And we decided, you know what, no, enough's enough. People need to know our stories as well.
In front of the Saskatchewan legislature, many wearing their COVID-19 masks, Canadians took a knee, shared their experiences, and demanded racial justice in the name of George Floyd. Now, people have been protesting across Canada, including in Nova Scotia. Kayla Hounsell spoke with some Black Canadians today who shared their experiences of racism at the hands of police.
Today, Trayvon Clayton is shooting hoops with the guys, but he's still reflecting on what happened last night.
It's probably the first time in so long I felt connected with Nova Scotia, with Halifax. It's like I felt welcomed and loved.
I refuse to hate.
Clayton was among thousands who peacefully protested against police brutality.
And a lot of people have been talking to me saying a riot, a riot, a riot. Hey, no, Halifax, we don't do that. We're better than that.
They took a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, the time a police officer was seen on video pressing his knee into George Floyd's neck.
At the age of 16, I was brutally arrested by a police officer. Matter of fact, he had his knee to the back of my head too. Imagine if he would have held his knee on my neck for 5 or more minutes. That could have been me.
A report released last year found Black people were street checked at a rate 6 times higher than white people in Halifax. That's when police stop people on the street and then record personal or identifying information. The practice has now been banned.
Stop looking across the border, Canada. Start looking in Canada itself.
Nova Scotia's first Black lieutenant governor says there has been some progress over the years, but she still lives with racial profiling.
Shopping while Black. That is something that you think about all the time. You have no choice but to be strategic. And now with COVID-19, if I'm wearing a mask, I have to be extremely more careful if I go into a store, because now I have a mask on. Oh, there's a Black woman wearing a mask. Do we have to follow her a little bit more closer, you know?
Trayvon Clayton says support from people of all races gives him hope for the next generation, his nephew, that this moment in time will be the turning point to create lasting change. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
All of these protests, thousands on the streets, of course, happening in the midst of a pandemic. There are now more than 92,000 cases of COVID-19 in Canada. Quebec makes up more than half of that total, but the number of new infections there has been trending down in recent days. It's a very different story in Ontario, which again saw the highest increase in the country. The government announced today it is extending its state of emergency, but questions are mounting about why Ontario is such an outlier. The Vicadopia looks into it.
Outside a church in suburban Toronto, they wait to be tested at a COVID-19 pop-up site.
I've had a sore throat for about 2 weeks now, and we just figured it's better to, get tested.
Ontario is stepping up testing, going into neighborhoods that are COVID hotspots.
If you don't do it, I think you're just being stupid, to be honest.
The number of daily reported COVID cases dipped below 300 last week. It's been rising ever since. This is the second day of more than 400 new cases.
We're in 1,000 times better shape.
Ontario's premier doesn't sound discouraged, citing more testing for the rising cases.
So the more you test, you are going to get a little more bump. You're testing 20,000 people compared to 10. There's 10,000 more people that may have a chance of having COVID. It's just simple math.
Yet the state of emergency remains until the end of June, a sign Ontario is still struggling.
With a decline in cases in Quebec now, it really leaves Ontario as a bit of an outlier, as a place that's been unable to get off the plateau. And we clearly need to do things differently here.
Indeed, hundreds of cases that tested positive from this testing site were never counted and followed up on. Ontario's main health agency blames a communications breakdown. Officials are now scrambling to track down potentially thousands of contacts of those missed cases. But is Ontario's contact tracing up for that extra caseload?
I have very little confidence that we have a robust system for contact tracing to any degree. And I think without that, it's highly unlikely that we will make progress in terms of being able to open up the economy or the healthcare to non-COVID illness.
And yet the Ontario government insists it's prepared to move ahead with more reopenings when the time is right. Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, the doctor at the center of a COVID outbreak in New Brunswick says he's become the target of racist verbal attacks and false police reports. Dr. Jean-Robert Ngola returned to work at this hospital a day after traveling to Quebec to pick up his 4-year-old daughter. He says he made no stops and had no contact with anyone, but he failed to self-isolate for 14 days afterwards. Now, at least a dozen COVID cases are linked to him. He says he made an error in judgment, but is not a criminal. Well, Canadians are starting to physically return to work, but are transit systems ready for more riders?
Help stop the spread of COVID-19.
Ahead on The National, we look at the challenges of providing a safe commute.
And social media feeds filled with black squares, but did Blackout Tuesday backfire?
This is going viral for the wrong reasons.
Plus, Black pro athletes using their influence to speak out and call for change.
People are just fed up.
We're back in 2. Welcome back. Millions of social media feeds were overtaken by a single shade today, black, in honor of protests across the continent. Seemingly endless, full of nothing. That was the point of Blackout Tuesday, a protest on platforms like Instagram against racial injustice. But Blackout Tuesday began as the show must be paused, an industry-specific movement started by 2 Black women who work in music.
It was supposed to be a time for Black creators in the music industry to take a moment to either rest or shed light on what's happening.
It grew fast, in part because of how simple it was to do. But one side effect, this sea of solidarity, may just be drowning out a week's worth of other voices.
Some people had tagged Black Lives Matter. The use of this hashtag was drowning out actual useful Black Lives Matter information. But posting a black square, to me, was still taking up space. It was still taking up space rather than leaving the space, ceding the space for people to talk.
What was supposed to bring to the fore the issues of anti-Black racism has effectively overtaken part of the conversation. Now, Blackout Tuesday followed days of big corporate brands making bold statements denouncing racism. But as Jacqueline Hansen tells us, some Canadian business owners are hoping the messages are more than just marketing.
They're sisters and friends.
Kim West wants her daughters to know being Black is a good thing, and seeing is believing. Her company, Kids Swag, sells clothing, toys, and other gear that celebrate diversity.
That's the initial stages of actually getting comfortable with talking about race.
George Floyd's death at the hands of police sparked a global outcry. When major corporations joined the conversation, West was relieved.
There's solidarity. They're finally starting to hear our voice.
In a video, Nike said, "Don't pretend there's not a problem in America." Reebok posted, "We are not asking you to buy our shoes. We're asking you to walk in someone else's." Netflix tweeted, "To be silent is to be complicit."
Ideally, what this does is it forces that company that puts out that statement to now be held accountable.
And calls are growing for companies to change from within. For example, critics point out that all of Nike's executives are white.
Black lives, they do matter. They matter every day. We're not a trend.
Creator of a line of darker skin-toned bras and panties, Chantel Carter, says it's important for other companies to stand with the Black community, but it can't stop there.
A lot of companies profit off of us and don't give anything back to our communities. I would like to see more than hashtags, more than just social media posts.
Fashion designer Aurora James is calling for companies to commit to buying 15% of their products from Black-owned businesses.
Representation is important everywhere.
West doesn't want fear of saying or doing the wrong thing to stop more people from speaking up.
Silence is the enemy.
And she hopes meaningful action will follow. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, the effects of the George Floyd protests aren't isolated to the United States. They're being felt all around the world as the outrage goes global. Tear gas filled the streets of Paris today as several thousand people defied pandemic-related restrictions to pay homage to Floyd and Adama Traoré, a French black man who died in police custody in 2016. And thousands held passionate but a peaceful march through Australia's largest city. Many said they'd been inspired by a mixture of sympathy and to call for change in Australia's treatment of its Indigenous population. And the image of Floyd has even made it to a shattered Syria, where a mural has been painted on the ruins of a bombed-out building in Idlib. The artist says he wanted to show solidarity with U.S. protesters and call for peace and love. Professional black athletes are also speaking out tonight.
People are just fed up, and I think it's time for a change.
Next, the calls for change from the sporting world and the demands for more from an industry with a platform. Plus,
what should you expect at a car dealership in a COVID-19 world? We'll walk you through it in our continuing series on this new normal of ours. Athletes are among those calling for change in the wake of George Floyd's death and so many other examples of injustice over the years. Cameron McIntosh has their messages today.
Here's Powell on the break.
Stars on the court, Toronto Raptors Norman Powell and Fred VanVleet also know the pain of racism.
People are just fed up, and I think it's time for a change.
I think the protests are rightfully so.
To be an athlete, no pass from discrimination, says CFLer Justin Renfro.
I had an incident with police pulling me over, pulling guns, saying I stole the car.
Add their names to a long list of black athletes responding to this. Boxer Floyd Mayweather is paying for George Floyd's funeral and speaking out. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, LeBron James. Demands for change from those normally apolitical and those speaking for years. This from former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. It was his taking a knee during the national anthem 4 years ago that shook the states. It's inspiring some protesters to do the same now.
His stance was definitely prophetic, and there's no stronger symbolism in our time right now.
It's being felt around the world. In German soccer, a goal celebration with a message. In the British Premier League, Liverpool FC with a statement all its own. Across all sports, there have been complaints teams and leagues aren't doing enough. Some white players are allying themselves.
Taking a drop pass, scores!
Winnipeg Jets captain Blake Wheeler is from Minneapolis.
We have to be as involved in this as black athletes. It can't just be their fight.
Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to be the person that can affect change in the people around you.
Here's Norman.
Sport has a platform to do that. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
So let's bring in Donovan Bennett now, writer and host with Sportsnet, to talk about the role that pro athletes can play in speaking out against racial injustice. And Donovan, we heard from Blake Wheeler there, and there have been others, but when you talk to white athletes and you ask them the question, why aren't more of you speaking out? I mean, what do you hear from them?
Yeah, I hear a lot of, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not versed in the information, and I hear a lot of, it's not my place to speak, that I want to actually stand at the back and allow the black athletes who have been impacted by this pain to speak. And I understand that sentiment, but in a way, that's the problem. The fact that you don't feel the same pain. You don't feel as convicted. And I totally get being uncomfortable, and it is tough in a tweet or in a statement to really, get across what you want to say. But I've been uncomfortable for a while. Black athletes have been uncomfortable putting their necks on the line for a while. George Floyd was very uncomfortable with a knee in his neck. So the point of being comfortable, we are past that. These are issues that we've been talking about for 400 years. That's not a small data pool. That is a big sample. And yet still we're having the same conversations. So we need people with power and privilege and people who aren't impacted by it every day to help in the conversation.
But you think about, so Colin Kaepernick, I mean, it's hard to imagine that was 4 years ago, that he took a knee, but he paid a price for that. I mean, he took a knee and he got chopped out at the knees. The fear of retribution from those in power, from fans, that must factor into the equation here.
Colin Kaepernick paid that price, but you can't tell me that if Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers said similar things, or even just stood alongside with Colin Kaepernick, gave him a little bit of comfort that their careers would be threatened. I think especially in this moment, if big athletes spoke out, not only would people applaud them, but I think some of their corporate sponsors, which they are afraid of jeopardizing, would actually back them. And wouldn't that be a great way for them to use their power and influence to tangibly work with some of their benefactors to help in a way that's even greater than their own power? So athletes do have a lot of power. They have a way to vote with their voice, but they also have a way to vote with the rooms that they're allowed to walk in that people like, frankly, myself or George Floyd or the people protesting on the streets every day don't.
Donovan, on a personal note, you have a little one, right?
I do, yeah.
How old is he?
He's just turned 13 months.
13 months. He must figure prominently in the way that you see all of this.
He does. And I can't say why for a lot of people this specific incident is different, but I can't say why it's different for me. And it's not because I'm at home quarantined with this quarantine beard. It's because when I see the scenes of George Floyd, when I see him prone on the pavement with a knee in his neck for 8+ minutes, screaming that he can't breathe, screaming for his mother, I don't see myself in those scenes anymore. I see my young son. And it breaks me to think that one day, Martin Luther King's dream may not be realized in concert with my son, that he won't be judged by the content of his character and the values I'm trying to raise him with. He's going to be judged by the color of his skin. So me as a father trying to protect him, at what point do I rob him of his innocence? Rob him of the fact that he loves to come up and give me big wet kisses and he loves to laugh when we're on walks and look at leaves? When do I rob him of his innocence and let him know that this world that he's in is not fair, that he's going to have to work twice as hard to get half? And even when he does that, sometimes it's going to have terrible consequences. And when I look at George Floyd, every single time I think of my son.
Donovan, I truly appreciate every opportunity I get to listen to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise, thank you for having this conversation.
And when we come back, preparing for a safe commute.
Help stop the spread of COVID-19.
What happens when Canadians head back to work and riders return to public transit to get there? We'll take you inside Canada's busiest transit system next. With sections of the economy starting to reopen, a big question: what do you do with transit? Right now, ridership is down dramatically, which allows for physical distancing. But what happens when people go back to work and school? Joanna Remiliotis looks at the costly calculations in an era of COVID.
Help stop the spread of COVID-19.
The announcements echo in Union Station, usually one of Toronto's busiest subway stops.
Please wash and sanitize your hands frequently and avoid touching your face.
Now filled with signs to keep a safe distance. Easy to do during a lockdown, but coming out of one? Scott Haskell is the man trying to come up with a plan.
The real tough question is, when are they coming back and how many of them are coming back, and what do we have to do to plan for that?
Haskell is part of the Toronto Transit Commission's strategic team, tasked with predicting the rate of passenger return and managing the public health risk that comes with it. Problem is, there are so many moving parts.
We're carrying about 20% of our total ridership today, but if that increases to 30%, 40%, 50, 60, 70, it's not actually possible to carry people with that much space between them on a large, functioning, busy transit system. So this is a fundamental issue that we are wrestling with, both here in Toronto, the TTC, and around the transit business in Canada.
The lockdown plan has been simple in comparison. The TTC is disinfecting its vehicles more often, testing its employees regularly for COVID-19 symptoms.
Here you go. Thank you.
And providing them with protective gear as well. It's also enforced distancing protocols, including maximum bus loads of 15 people, all at a staggering cost. The agency is predicting a $300 million deficit by September, and getting back on track during a pandemic is even harder.
Right now, it's a treading water situation, and it won't be able to last for much longer.
Karen Stintz is a former Toronto City Councillor and former TTC chair. She says the TTC's recent ask for financial help from the province and the federal government is about survival, now and going forward.
Even though ridership may be low, the TTC is still such an important piece of infrastructure for the city, and it's needed for people, essential workers, for people who don't have cars. And for as people start to move around, it will be critical that they have the option of the TTC, because in some cases it may actually be even safer than taxis or Ubers.
But while the TTC can't afford to run on empty for much longer, planning to move more commuters safely is complicated. A lot depends on plans that are still evolving, from how or if schools will reopen to how quickly or slowly office towers fill back up. Toronto's downtown core alone accounts for thousands of transit users.
Let's figure out how we move forward, and let's...
Jan De Silva is president of Toronto's Board of Trade. She's had conversations with all levels of industry. They're all grappling too.
It's just that there's so many unknowns, and I think when we went into this weeks ago in March, we all had the mindset that we'll just wait for this to be over and then we can go back to normal. What we know now is that's not going to happen anytime soon. So this is why I think we're going to see businesses continue with work from home arrangements until there's different protocols in transit to help and mitigate the need to have social distancing.
For the TTC, that presents a pandemic paradox. With 70% of its operating revenue coming from the fare box, it needs more passengers to remain viable, but can't run more buses and trains to maintain the distancing practices in place now.
No transit system in the country has the capability to run a lot more service than they were running just before the pandemic. There are some situations where you could limit the number of people entering the station, but fundamentally, an urban public transit system is not one that you can do a lot of controlling of who enters it.
So then what?
So then we default to customers must take responsibility for themselves and their safety, should wear a face covering, and as best they can, they should try to keep away from other people on the system.
And all that still depends on how many people will actually use transit or continue to stay away. One thing for sure, it's another guess. Joanna Remiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, these days, lots of people feel more comfortable in their cars than on public transit. But if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you should know that the car buying experience has changed since the start of this pandemic. Take a look. What should you expect at a car dealership in a COVID-19 world? Well, the first thing, call ahead to ask. Many dealerships are now by appointment only. Now, when you arrive, you may see more staff wearing protective gear. You may be offered some as well, and outdoor showings may actually become the norm. Airflow is a good thing, but either way, whether you're inside or outside, just keep in mind you will be touching things, and they're aware of that.
So every time customer sits in the vehicle, touches the vehicle, we lock that vehicle, but prior to locking it, we actually disinfect it.
Now, what about getting inside the car? What's the risk of getting sick when you're in such a confined airspace?
Unlike things like measles virus, which can hang around in the air for hours, there's no evidence that SARS-CoV can actually do that outside of very, very unusual experimental conditions that don't seem to happen in a biologic world. So we don't really suspect it hangs in the air.
But because we know this virus is spread primarily through fresh droplets, there is a risk of getting into a confined space with a stranger. So how do test drives work? Well, some dealers will actually bring the car to your home, and you'll have the option of driving alone with the employee following behind you in their own vehicle. But if you must test drive together, you can lower the windows to get better airflow.
And you probably would want to have them sit kind of kitty corner from you in the vehicle so that you're not right next to each other, which would also, I think, be a reasonable thing to consider doing.
And one last thing, given how many things you'll be touching, don't touch your face, wash your hands before you leave, and drive safe. And right after the break, a warning from the world of science, the danger and damage from extreme rainfall. Why North America is going to get it more often and more severely unless something's done.
I love music.
It's just us and our guitar.
From their homes.
It's a pretty melancholy song.
To yours.
Yeah, go East Coast.
Juno's 365 Songwriters Circle. New episode. Now streaming on CBC Gem. Brought to you by TD.
I'm Pia Chattopadhyay. Tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, Donald Trump's response to an unprecedented moment of crisis in the U.S., from tweets about shooting looters to threats to dispatch the military. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Federal government researchers say they have made a breakthrough by showing the link between climate change and extreme rainfall. The study from Environment and Climate Change Canada was just published. Here's Shauna Reid with what it means for people and governments.
In cities across Canada, extreme rainfall has contributed to flash floods. In the last decade, water damage claims averaged more than $500 million a year, much higher than before. A new Canadian report warns, expect to see more of this.
In North America, we have seen an increase in the frequency and severity of heavy rainfall events. And this is largely due to global warming.
The report reviewed 50 years of data and found increases in heavy rainfall were consistent with climate change model predictions. As warming continues, researchers say extreme rainfall will be more frequent and more severe.
In a world without human influence on the climate, a precipitation event that would occur about once every 100 years on average would occur about once every 20 years on average in our current climate.
This is the first study to zero in on North America.
This discernibly happening on a North American scale that helps to bring that closer to home. Once every 20
The implications range from the safety of Canadians to how buildings are designed.
You're going to have to make those repairs, and so then the building becomes more expensive to maintain. The probability of a loss of life, if we're talking about flash flooding, becomes higher as a consequence.
And cities needing to rethink how they design communities.
Municipalities are beginning to update their stormwater management guidelines, official plans, zoning bylaws.
This expert says Canadians need to adapt quickly.
And I think the study really underscores that we as Canadians have to get ahead of this and invest in preparedness to flood events now, today. Time is not a luxury.
Without significant action to cut emissions caused by humans, experts say costs will keep piling up. Shauna Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, and speaking of extreme rainfall, you may have noticed Adrian's disappeared just for a little bit. That's because there's a pretty severe thunderstorm hitting downtown Toronto right now. So just out of safety's sake, it makes more sense to carry out the rest of the program from here inside studio. But Adrian, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, next on The National. She started out as the only black person in her medical school. Today, she graduated as valedictorian. Our moment is next.
I'm calling out the entire makeup industry. These companies are telling you, yeah, it's gentle, it's safe. 10 years down the line, oh my God, I have cancer.
We're talking about thousands of different chemicals.
Toxic Beauty on Hot Docs at Home, Thursday at 8. For the latest coronavirus pandemic updates, breaking news, and top stories.
Our top priority is to get you the help you need.
Download the CBC News app now.
When Chika Stacey Oriowa first started medical school at the University of Toronto, she was the only black person in her class of 259. And today, 4 years later, she graduated as her class valedictorian. Her powerful message to her classmates is our moment.
To my fellow graduates, to this cohort of brilliant physicians with boundless potential, we had a vision of 2020, and though the picture didn't quite turn out as clear as we thought it would be, we remained a class of visionaries, those with the foresight to define themselves in this world, who raised their arms with fists curled in the face of injustice. As our patients entrust us with their lives, the time has officially arrived for us to rise to the occasion. We waded into uncertain waters, the sons and daughters of hope, equipped with knowledge, compassion, and our stethoscopes. And though we will encounter a difficult road ahead, we are united by the threads of endurance and tenacity. Within us lies the capacity to change the world.
Chika tells us that she has wanted to be a doctor since she was a little girl. And an exciting note here, 24 black medical students were admitted to U of T's Faculty of Medicine for the class of 2024. That's the largest cohort in Canadian history. Good news. That's the National for this June 2nd. Good night.